Welcome to the details now. This afternoon, there's an update on the kidnapping cases in the Western region. The police has held a news conference to give some more detail on what they found. Investigators have this afternoon dispatched a mobile phone obtained from the kidnapper in their possession to the forensic lab for analysis. Police say all efforts have been made to track for accomplices. We're now also learning of other cases of kidnapping in the Volta region as well. All these and more coming up shortly.
We want the children. It is not the breeding we want.
I couldn't believe still my daughter is alive. Because how can the dress be found and then the person is not there?
If it was to be an MP's daughter, or even assemblyman, or even a police commander, or even, let's say, one of the big men, the pastors, like, is that how they're going to treat the case?
So we're running a social media campaign to help the police find the girls. If you see something, definitely do say something. And we've put these pictures on our social media platform. We have their details. We have the date, how old they are, when they were last seen. And we're asking you to provide information for the police if you should see anything. Well, this afternoon, let's start the conversation with details of the news press conference that was addressed by the police in Takoradi today.
Before his arrest, what actually happened was that there was a catalog of calls between the accused person and the victim, which were analyzed, and the police established connection of the accused person to the 3 kidnap cases. He gave several leads to the police, but when the leads were followed, they were all found to be false. He always wants to divert the police attention. On the 24th of December, the accused was put before the magistrate court, Takoradi, and was remanded to police custody for investigation to appear on the 9th of January. However, on the 30th of December at about 6:25 p.m., while the accused was in police cell, he managed to escape through one of the ventilation windows of the cells. It was discovered that he used a handsaw blade to cut the 5.8-inch rod used to secure ventilation windows, and he escaped through it. However, through the intensity of our processes, on January 3rd, 2019, he was recaptured at Kaswedu in an uncompleted building in the bush. A search conducted around the building where he was recaptured revealed the dress, the headgear of the headgear and the rubber slippers the third victim wore when she was kidnapped. This clue gave the police a strong belief that the accused is connected to the crime. In addition, he was sent to court on the charges of escaping from lawful custody, causing unlawful damage to the police cells, and resisting arrest. He pleaded not guilty to all the counts, and the trial is ongoing. In all instances where the accused kidnapped the 3 victims, it was observed that he has struck an acquaintance with the victims for some time, because the call history shows that he was in constant communication with some of them, all of them, before the kidnapping would take place. He promised the accused contacted the victim several times through mobile phone communications. He promised the first and the second victim with jobs, while he promised the third victim with a mobile phone. Police has discovered some gadgets from the accused for invitation purposes and has been forwarded to CID headquarters for analysis. The accused person earlier made mention of 4 persons alleged to have been involved in the kidnapping. The police have made strenuous efforts to arrest these suspects from their hideout, but it proved futile. We realized that we send you to a house and said, the people are here, you go, nobody will be traced. Police have made strenuous efforts to arrest these suspects from the hideout, proved futile. Police are still vigorously searching for the kidnapped girls. The general public is urged to come forward with credible information leading to the rescue of the victims. We are also appealing to the parents of the victims to stay calm as police is working around the clock to rescue the victims.
That is the commander for the Western Region Police, DCOP Redeemer Vincent Dejo, there speaking at a press conference earlier. Kojo Youngson is our man leading this coverage in the Western Region. He'll be joining us shortly with some more details of what they're finding on the ground. But as the search continues, gender right advocate Angela Jamna Abwaje is raising questions about the manner in which the investigations are proceeding so far.
I would have expected by now, in a case like this, first of all, I am beginning to think that even if it's not the same suspect, there appears to be some people who are trying to copy, even if I'm just conjecturing. You know, by now, there should be intervention from the police headquarters that is looking at working with other sub-regional organizations, security organizations, to find out what has happened. I would have thought by now the Interpol would be in a case like this. Maybe I'm escalating it because as a parent, you know, I feel the pain of what has happened when you are not sure whether your daughter is dead or not. I'm asking myself, a scarf was found, some dress.
Clothes, yes.
And if it was near to where the suspect was operating, what kind of examination, what kind of forensics were done on these clothes? Okay? Because some of these things may lead to further tracking or trailing of what has happened. And I'm thinking even by now, the Attorney General's Department should be involved, because kidnapping is a second-degree felony. If we call it abductions, unfortunately in our criminal Offences Act, it's a lower crime, but kidnapping is a second-degree felony. And the reason why I would expect that even the Attorney General should be involved at this point is that, is there a possibility of plea bargaining if these clothes were found near where the suspect is? It means there's a possible charge of murder. We don't know that yet. But you should be able to do the kind of questioning that will let this guy understand that he could probably be going in for a very long time if he's not prepared to talk.
Yeah.
So at that level of handling, with the kind of police responses we were getting yesterday, it grieves my heart.
And it certainly grieves a lot of hearts, but the hashtag is still trending on social media, helping to find the girls. Well, let's listen to a criminologist, Professor Kenneth Tefa there, about his own thoughts about how the police, well, some people have said that the police seem to have run out of ideas as to how to deal with this matter. Mr. Tefa has some ideas.
Throughout the world, across time and space, the bulk of crime is resolved not by the police themselves, but by citizens cooperating with the police, sharing information. That's the essence of the story that Angela just told us about what the intervention by the professor friend. The critical turning point is when the public became involved in that process, circulating photographs. Then the perpetrators, perhaps, because we don't know that for sure, the perpetrators panicking and letting go. But it is always, not always, most crimes are resolved because people provide information. Now we have the photographs out. The second point is the suspect who is reticent in giving information. There is no way you can force him. We have to be realistic. You cannot torture him. But when you have assembled such circumstantial evidence as would incline a court to find that he is connected to the case, then that's when you begin to go to court. And I think that is when the Attorney General's Department actually properly comes in. Because at this point, what you want to be sure of is that you can link the suspect to an object which belongs to the victim.
Okay.
We call it a Lockhart principle.
Okay.
Now, in investigation. So linking the suspect to an object that belongs to the victim is critical, and that has been established already in this case. It is not conclusive, but it is highly probative of the offense of kidnapping or abduction. And if this person is not found, and police after a while has reasonable basis to believe that she is dead, and there is a period for the presumption of death, then and only then can a murder charge be properly brought against this person. And I believe with the greatest of respect that it is probably at that point that the Attorney General's intervention or intervention or feedback becomes most critical. Advising the police at this point, and I don't know, it is probable that all the fears that Angela has articulated have been taken, it is possible, have been taken into account by the police. It is possible that it has not occurred to them at all. But if they have not acted on these, it may be reasonable for them to do so. If they are doing so, then what we are asking for is an invigoration of their efforts in order to bring back these girls to their parents and to Ghanaians.
And that's the ultimate, that's all that their parents are looking for. And so earlier this morning, Kojo Youngson, who's on the ground for us, has been interacting with the families of these girls.
This is Diabini. It's an old suburb here in Takoradi, and it's the home of Ruth Quayson. Ruth is now perhaps the most recognized of the alleged 7 kidnapped girls of Takoradi. Today I've come to her home where she lives with her family. You can see them all gathered behind me, still extremely worried, still coming together every evening, talking, thinking, praying and hoping for the return of their daughter. Today, I'm the latest guest to grace their doorstep, but I'm here to find out more about the lady who disappeared, how she got abducted, and what indeed the family hopes will happen as the days go by. On the 4th of December, Ruth told her family she was going to MTN in search of a job that had been advertised. Now, she took a taxi with a neighbor and got down at a junction not far from home. She was never seen again. Around me is Ruth's family. They still can't believe what has happened. It's been a month and 3 weeks since their daughter was taken, and Ruth's mother can hardly keep her emotions together. It doesn't take much to bring out the tears, as you can see. Marsha's and I. Oh, yeah. The last person to see is her neighbor Stacy. Stacy happened to be on her way into town at the same time Ruth left, on the 4th of December. Now Ruth was heading towards MTN. She said after finishing Fijai she wanted to work, to get some exposure, and she had heard of a job at MTN. So she and a friend were going to find out how they could secure this job. She jumped in a taxi with her neighbor, but they didn't travel very far. Her neighbor's name is Stacy. Stacy, tell me about that last taxi ride that you had with Ruth.
We left home together. She told me she was going to MTN office with a friend to look for a job. And I was also going to the library. So we took the car and then we alighted. She alighted at BU Junction. And I asked her why she didn't go to town straight. She said her friend said she should wait for her at BU Junction so that they all go together. So
what did she tell you about her friend? Was it a male or a female?
I don't know. I just assumed it's one of her classmates, so I didn't really ask about the person.
How did she seem? What was her mood like? Was she excited, happy, sad,
She
scared?
was excited about it because she said the person said they were going to pay her 650 cedis. So she was happy about the job.
Did she say anything else about this job? How did she find out about it?
She said a friend told her about it, that the person knows someone who can help her. So the person was going with her to introduce her to the person to help her get the job.
And she got down at BU Junction.
Yes.
BU Junction is not far from here.
No, it's not.
Is it a popular place? Is it common for people to take a car from here and get down there?
Yeah, it's a popular place. That's the junction to Takrade Technical University. So it's popular.
And it's common for people to take a car from here and get down there?
Yeah.
So what was the last thing Ruth said to you?
We were talking about organizing a party during the Christmas, so we were mostly talking about that and discussing how we're going to organize it. That was the last thing we were talking about.
So this was the 4th of December, and you were planning a party for Christmas last year?
Yes.
Did you still have a party?
No, we couldn't have the party.
Because Ruth is not here?
Yes.
Nanajwa is Ruth's older sister. They call her Nani. She has been interacting with the police throughout the course of this investigation. Nani, do you think the police are doing enough to find your sister?
No.
Why not?
Because as I'm speaking to you, it's been 17 days since they rearrested the guy, and up to now they haven't been able to get any good information from the guy. Then that means they are not doing enough. I'm wondering if it was to be a great person in Ghana or a great person in Takrade, like the MP's daughter, is that how they're going to treat the case? Because what they are doing, we just don't get it. We just don't understand it.
Tell me, when was the last time you spoke to the police, and what did they say?
The last time I spoke to them was last week, Monday, before the Wednesday that we went to the court sitting. Yeah, we went to the DCP regional office at Sekendi, but he wasn't around, so we spoke to one DOP, Mr. Ipa. Then he told us that they are still on it. The guy keeps giving them wrong information. They went to Kaswa, no one was there. They went to this place, no one was there. So they are still on it. That's what he's been telling us. They are still on it. No new development. Any day that we ask, no new development.
Now, for how many days was he, after he escaped, for how many days was he on the loose? Do you know?
No.
Okay. But your mother says that while he was on the loose, he actually contacted your family for more money. Yeah,
that was on the 31st of December. He called us telling us that we are very funny because those policemen that we are giving there, we've reported the case to, they cannot do anything to solve it. So if we want our sister back, we should just obey what he will say, then send the money to him, and we should forget about the police people because they can't help us. That's what the boy told us. So when I heard that, I was like, why? Because from the look of what the guy is saying, that means there was something going on between the police and the guy that we don't know or what. So I immediately went online, and I saw the picture there that the guy has escaped. So it was like, wow, we've reported a case to you, and in this case, the person has escaped from the cell. At least you should tell the victim's parent or family that this is what is happening. I called the CID. He said he is not aware that the guy has escaped. He has traveled to the central region, that he is on his way from Peposo. Then later on, he sent me a text message that, yeah, it's true that the guy has escaped. So we were like, how? We can't just understand someone in the central police station could just escape while 7 policemen were on duty that day. It's kind of some story. We don't know. We don't know what's really happening here. We don't know.
So how was it all explained in court? Were you there?
Yeah, the first time I was there, the judge asked the guy about the escape, whether he is guilty or not. The guy said not guilty. All the questions they asked me, said not guilty. Then the judge proceeded the case to another date, which was last week Wednesday when we went. Then the guy admitted that, yeah, he is guilty. He escaped from the cells. They asked him how he went about it. He said it was through someone who was passing by the window, that he made the person to call his brother to tell him to bring him also bread and some oil that he claimed he used to cut the ceiling. So we were like, how can someone in the cells while some policemen were on duty, we were able to cut to the extent that no one could hear the boy cutting the blade. Or we don't just understand. We just don't understand. And even when you see the size of the window, I'm not sure that even a 10-year-old person can even pass through that window. So the thing is, it's a whole kind of, I don't know, a frame story. We don't know what is going on.
What do you think has happened to Ruth? Where do you think she is right now?
For that one day, I can't tell, but I believe in the God I serve that she is definitely alive, and we will soon see her one day. So for me, dear, my hope is still high that one day we will just, it's a matter of the police speeding up the process. That's all. Because if they are able to use different ways or means to torture the guy to speak, I think that will help. Because the guy can't be there, eat, and they will just, we don't know what is happening. Because even if you look through the guy from the head to toe, none of his body is being touched. So we don't know what they are doing. I don't know what measures they are using to derive information from the guy.
Now, when Ruth was first taken, she called with her own phone.
Yeah.
And what did she say?
She told us that he took a taxi at Nkofo Junction, which is our junction. Then immediately she took the taxi, she did not see anything again. The last thing was she was in some room locked up, so she doesn't know where she is. So she sent 500 Ghana, that's what the people are demanding. Then the phone went off.
And after that?
They called back again, demanding for 10,000 Ghana cedis.
So did you pay any
No.
of that? So at no point did your family pay any of the ransom?
We paid like 1,200. Beginning it was 500 Ghana that we paid. Then we sent another 500 Ghana for them to use to trace where the guy will be withdrawing the money and where he is being during the course. So through that and with the help of the police and the BNI, they were able to use to arrest that Samewos.
That's his name?
Yeah.
Right. Tell me, it's been 7 weeks since your sister disappeared. How has the home been different in her absence? What has changed? What do you miss about your sister?
A lot has changed. A lot has changed because since that day on the 4th, we've not been able to eat nor sleep. Anytime that we sleep and we hear a sound of a car, then we are expecting maybe someone has dropped her by. So we just wake up and come in the bath. Nothing shows that he is around.
But you believe she will come home?
Yeah.
What do you want to say to the police?
As for the police, we've said a lot to them. Now, my problem is the President of Ghana, that he should set his feet up because this thing can even let him lose some votes in the Western region. Because as for me, I've decided that not to vote again because in this all the way with all the things started, by now I'm sure that they have learned what is going on in the Western, but it seems they are not showing any much concern about the situation. So we are asking if it was to be an MP's daughter or even assemblyman or even a police commander or even, let's say, one of the big men, the pastors, like, is that how they're going to treat the case? Because we just don't understand. We just don't understand. It's been 17 days since you had this guy. We're not able to trace anything from the guy, whilst his phones are in their custody too.
So
and Nigerian coming to our country to do this. Imagine if we were Ghana that we went there, what would they do to us?
So you think that it's because you are not politicians or pastors or rich people, that's why your case is not being developed?
That's how we see, because if it was to be an army officer's daughter, but I'm not sure by now, even the guy will be just be looking fresh like that. You see?
Have you met with any of the other families of kidnapped girls?
Yeah, we met with the first university girl, Prinsela, We met with the dad.
And is this suspect, has he admitted to the police that he's the same person who took all of them?
Yeah, he admitted. Even the last victim, they saw his dress and his scarf in the room when they went and rearrested the guy.
And they rearrested him here in Takoradi?
Yeah.
You think your sister may still be here in Takoradi?
For that one there, I doubt.
You think she's still in Ghana?
For in Ghana, yes. I'm 100% sure that she's still here. Maybe they've been hiding her from someone that we couldn't even see. Because according to them, the guy gave them information that they were at Kasua I also heard, and I was doing my underground investigation, I also heard that there was said thing going on at Kaswa. Immediately I reported the case. I told our pastor to tell the CID that this is what I've also heard. Unfortunately, that day that they told them, the next morning the people were no more at the Kaswa. So I don't know whether someone is there among them giving them information, or we don't know.
You think someone amongst the police is working with the...
Or someone among the security firm, because it's kind of strange to us. It's kind of strange, because since I heard that Kaswa news, it was just like 3 days. Just only the day that I voiced it out, then they vanished from that place. So we don't know what's going on.
Already the sun has set, but our work is not done. I have found the home of another victim, one of the 3 victims who the police have received reports about. This is the home of Priscilla Mantibia Crunchy. Her father, Alexander Kojo Crunchy, lives here with her and her siblings. That is until she disappeared on the 21st of December. I've come to find out everything I can about the circumstances around her disappearance, and perhaps some detail that is yet to make its way into the public domain.
But I was feeling very, very bad. Even I gave way to tears at the police station, court, when the dress was shown to me. But at the court, you cannot cry very loud, so I restrained myself. Those around me saw that I was very sad.
Why? Why were you sad?
I was sad because a daughter I was staying with, I don't have, since the brother is here and then she is the second person. They are those around me all the time. And I can't find my daughter's present. Only the dress is being shown to me. What has happened to my daughter? Is he still alive, or he might have been killed by this guy? So I was feeling very sad. In fact, till this day, it's only I have to control myself. If I'm to give way to tears all the time, it won't help. It won't help. So I have to restrain myself and then go about my normal life.
She's been missing now for over a month.
Yes, please.
Only her clothes have been found.
Yes.
Tell me, deep down inside, do you believe your daughter is still out there, still alive?
Okay, people are consoling me that maybe that they change the dress so that they can have a new dress, so that when they are is being transported somewhere, others who know her will find it difficult to identify her. This is what people have been telling me. So I take condolence from that. But to me, I can't see my daughter is dead, and I can't see he's alive. If he's alive, it's only God knows. But as the police have not given up and tell me that where they have reached, there's no hope that my daughter will come back, I still believe the police can help.
You still have faith that the police can find your daughter?
They are doing the work.
You believe they can do a good job? Are they doing a good job, in your opinion?
To this present time, what I wanted them to do first is to get to where the daughters are, who are kidnapped, they are, so that we can go and bring them to their house. But it looks as if they are more interested in the cell break. I don't know why they are treating that case first before they come to the substantial issue, which is the kidnap. But they know what they are doing. I need an explanation, but we have not got any explanation from them. So we are worried, in fact.
Some families demonstrated when the suspect was missing. Did you join that demonstration?
That time, mine was very new. So we've been going to the police from second D to BNI to so in fact that day we were being called by the police. Even I went to the BNI, from there I went to the regional crime officer's office before we came back to Takoradi, so I couldn't get time to join the yes. Yes.
Do you share the suspicion of Ruth Kweson's family, who fear that the police are actually complicit in these kidnappings, that they are actually working with the kidnappers? Do you share that suspicion?
Okay, I cannot share that with their family, but I cannot share that suspicion.
You believe that the police are doing their job?
Yes. My plea is that since the police, they say they are doing their work, I would have wished if there should be a superior authority who would press them to go about the duties they are performing expeditiously so that they can get to the bottom of this matter. I am pleading to, even as far as to the president's office and then the Parliament House, if they can all come in to assist, because now it is on me. Tomorrow, who else will be the next person? So if the earlier they all join hands together to press things hard, the better it will be for the nation. Because they are saying 3, 4, 7. Who knows the next person? So they should all join hands together. Parliament, the Women Caucus, World of Women Ministry, they all should come together to press the police to do their work expeditiously.
I want you to take this opportunity and speak to your daughter. What would you like to say to her? Just look into the camera.
I will tell her I love her and I miss her. And I'm praying that Jehovah God should help her come back to home safely if he's still alive. We are doing all what we can. All what we can is to pray to God. And the merciful God, I know he will help if he's alive to come back.
Now, Philip, you are Priscilla's older brother.
Yes, please.
And you noticed some behavior in the days before she disappeared. Tell me what you saw.
She's the kind of person that, as my father said, we have been hearing complaints that she has been making phone calls. So before the incident occurred, I mean the day before, she did something and I was angry with her, so I seized the phone. But what she told me is, if she says she can buy a phone that day I collected the phone, she will buy it.
So she was not worried that you had seized
yes,
the phone?
She was not worried.
She could buy another one?
Another one.
Did she tell you how she intended to buy?
Yeah, I asked her how, but that was Friday morning. So that day we were both angry, so Friday morning I asked her about how she can afford the phone. And she told me she was making susu in the school, so she would collect her money, then use it to buy the phone. So then I left the house to do my job, yeah.
And when you came home, she was gone.
Yeah.
Tell me about your sister. What is she like? Are you surprised that this has happened?
Yes, I am surprised. Because she's a kind of person, I must say she's not stubborn that much. But the only problem I can say she has is she likes going out a lot, making friends, yeah.
How old is she?
15 years.
15, okay.
That's the problem I can say she has. Then we were advising her on that problem. But all of a sudden, this is what has happened.
Do you know her friend, the lady who identified?
Yeah, I know her.
Okay, the two of them are very close?
Close, yeah.
Okay, had you heard about this guy before? Had you heard your sister talking about him, or?
Nah.
You didn't even know he existed?
After the incident occurred, and we heard that she has been communicating with the guy.
Are you worried?
Yes, I'm worried. But
what are you worried about? What are you afraid of?
We all have hopes that she's still alive, or they are still alive, because it's not only her, but only God can tell where they are. All we can do, or we can do is just to pray that they come back safely.
We want the children. It is not the beating we want.
I couldn't believe still my daughter is alive. Because how can the dress be found and then the person is not there?
If it was to be an MP's daughter, or even assemblyman, or even a police commander, or even, let's say, one of the big men, the pastors, like, is that how they're going to treat the case?
So that is the situation, and like I said, Kojo Jansen is on the ground for us. We'll be crossing over to him shortly. But let's have a quick analysis as far as security is concerned. I have a security analyst, Adam Bona, joining us for this particular conversation. Mr. Bona, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. It's quite a sad story, but this is where we are. I'm sure that you've been following the conversation so far. As a security analyst, would you say that the way that the conversation is going, the way that information is being poured out there through social media, on traditional media, that it has any potential of jeopardizing the investigations that are ongoing?
Good evening. Good afternoon to your cherished viewers. I'm sure you know why I will say good evening, because I'm usually on PM Express. Mm-hmm. Well, what I can say is that anyone who says, showing, putting a lot of information out there about this young, girls would jeopardize the work in terms of getting them rescued, would hamper it. That maybe that person doesn't know that much. Because I have to be honest with you, I had spoken to some families of, I think the lady there, I didn't even know, I think her name is Nanadra or something. Yeah. Herself and another person have been talking to me. But I didn't know her, and I have to be honest with you, my interest in it wasn't probably that much, this whole thing was almost like a joke till probably, thank you to yourselves, the multimedia team, putting a lot of emphasis on this and making this a national issue. It shouldn't be even one girl kidnapped. And so if not for the fact that you put out the information there, I mean, if I go to social media, any of my social media handles, the images are there. And so I must admit that you guys are doing well, and I want to believe that other networks who are watching us, both conventional, radio, TV, social media, I mean, let's all, throw a lot more light on the fact that we need them, and their faces should be shown everywhere.
Right, now, I mean, that's for the pictures. I mean, that's for the pictures. That's for the pictures. But sometimes when you speak to the police, there is the impression created as though they do not they cannot give you information because they feel like it will jeopardize the investigations. But to what extent? I mean, how much information can they give that would rather help the investigation than jeopardize it?
Well, for instance, we now know that they have a team in Takoradi helping with the investigations. I think the press conference that was held today by the police regional commander and his team, I think he made it known that they had a team from the headquarters who were on the ground to assist them with the investigation. These are some of the things families and Ghanaians and the whole world want to hear. That you see, they are getting the support, the headquarters is supporting, or else then it becomes just a Western regional issue. And so giving us this information wouldn't jeopardize, how much, whatever they are doing. We don't erase it. And then, secondly, they told us, I mean, which I think they shouldn't have, that some information they have had to do with some of these girls were in some relationship or so. For me, I think they themselves would have to also manage some of this information. For now, that is not what some of us want to hear. All we want to hear is where are the girls. Right. And so let's move forward. Let's get them, then we can ask questions.
Okay. So in moving forward, are there any... Yesterday, I spoke to the regional commander. I spoke to him and I asked him why they have had to keep this gentleman for 17 days and he's leading them consistently to places where they find nothing, but they still are keeping him. And it did not sound like there has been any further development, any progress made as far as finding the girls is concerned when I spoke to him. It looks like they are at a standstill with the investigation. What sort of advice would you have? What sort of ideas would you advance as to how they can proceed with this particular case and where it is?
I think what I have done on my own, also trying to get a lot of information from, the CID. I mean, when I say CID, getting a lot of information had to do with the fact that what are they doing? Because then we talking to our Nigerian security counterparts. But I was told that, yes, that is being done. And I think out of that, they established that the guy is someone who might have been convicted in the past. And so I'm told, I'm reliably informed that they are working on those leads in Nigeria to see who his friends are, who probably he was staying with in Ghana. They are trying to get a lot of information about him. Okay. One other thing I hope that they will do, if the taxi driver, the last cabbie or the last taxi he picked, if the driver is listening and watching us, maybe the police should encourage the driver to come to their station and tell them what he knows. I believe that from the narrative, I mean through your network, Kojo Youngson asked I think a lady who was with one of the victims,
a friend of hers,
saw one of the victims. Yeah. And she actually did indicate that they both sat in a taxi. Either she got down first or the victim who is in captivity got down first. But somehow a taxi driver picked them. Do we know who this taxi driver is? We need to know. Is the taxi driver, what does the taxi driver know? What is the involvement of that taxi? These are things that I think through the media, we are able to put out there so that those who are watching and might have seen something, saw something, heard something, felt something, would come forward to report. And so one thing we haven't looked at has to do with her movement, her last movement with the taxi driver. So probably they should do that. But I believe that the police would have to find other ways of making him talk. He needs to talk. I mean, they need to, if they don't know how to do it, I would encourage them to ask, the Guantanamo Bay, military.
Are you by this way suggesting torture? Because that's not an acceptable.
I'm not saying torture.
All right, because that's not an acceptable way of interrogation.
One of the methods used was torture in the Guantanamo Bay prison. But there were other means, other ways of extracting information from hardened criminals like him. So apart from, there is the International Convention Against Torture, And so I'll be the last person to call for torture. But there are other ways of getting him caught. It's been used elsewhere and it's been approved to be used. I wouldn't want to go into it, but I believe that these things will be discussed behind closed doors so that they can get him to talk. He has to talk. Tell us where the girls are.
Tell us where the girls are. Let me finally, let me end with this part of the conversation about the bigger picture. There are fears that could there be a syndicate? The police and lots of people who have analyzed this have said that there seems to be a trace of professionalism in the work that these people seem to be doing. There are fears that there could be a kidnapping syndicate in this area. I mean, we're looking at 3 girls, and we're even hearing reports that some people have reported to us that they. So let me specifically say there was a lady who said that her child was kidnapped but was freed later, and there are still concerns about ongoing issues like this. Are these fears that there could be a syndicate, a professional kidnapping syndicate working in the Western region, unfounded, or are they somehow justified? And why would you say?
No, they are justified. If you know the modus operandi of what you call it, you know, those who would kidnap people to be able to get, get ransom for ransom purposes, to be paid money. Usually, it's a network, and that network is properly rehearsed. They would have trained, they would have psyched themselves, they would have, developed a certain pattern, the way they do things. They would have rented places, and so, I mean, those who have that suspicion, I would say they are justified because. From where I sit, I see this to be well orchestrated, because then 5 months in captivity, even if you live on your own, I mean, feeding yourself for 5 months, it's not something that comes easy. And so I want to believe that the first things first, let's find where these girls are. Then what we can do is to explore, look at the bigger picture. How do we stop this? But whilst we are talking about that, I hope that the Immigration Service, today they are doing a passing out parade at the Asin Fosu immigration camp. When they are back into town, I'm hoping that they will strengthen their borders so that those who are coming in, we want quality immigrants, not thieves and criminals who would come in and take our peace for granted. And so these are some of the things that on the larger picture we have to look at. But the most important thing now has to do with finding out where these girls are. And so for me, that assertion that it's a syndicate is justified, and therefore we need to look at it and see how do we break that chain. If we get one of them who is on the loose arrested, I believe that we will find these girls. And I believe, I'm about 60% sure they are in this country.
Well, that sounds good, and I hope that it gives the parents some comfort. But until their children come home, they certainly won't have so much of comfort. Mr. Bona, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. As always, Adam Bona is a security analyst there, saying that, well, the fears that there could be a syndicate, a professional kidnapping syndicate, justified and deserves some attention there. You're still watching The Pulse with me, Gifty and Dopia. Kojo Yankson, by the way, is still on the ground. We're hoping to get through to him and to find out what he's been picking up, what more he's been picking up on the ground. But this is still The Pulse. I'll take a very quick break. I'll be right back. Please don't go away. Welcome back. The conversation is still on. Bring back our tardy girls. Let's cross over to Takoradi, where Kojo Yankson is standing by for us. Hello, Kojo.
Good to see you, Gifty.
Very well, Kojo. Tell us where you are and what's happening there.
Right, Gifty, I'm in a community called Aseke. Aseke is a very busy community, and it has an increasing number of Nigerian residents. Now, we came over to speak to the Ghanaians here to find out how they are reacting to the news of the arrest of a Nigerian suspect in the kidnapping case. Now, we've listened to them, but we don't want to leave without hearing the opinions of the Nigerians in the community. So I'm about to meet one of them. He is the owner of a shop here. He sells mobile phone accessories. And I'm curious to find out how he is reacting to the latest revelation about a citizen of his country. So let's meet him now.
Right.
Hello, sir. Thank you for speaking. What do you think about him?
Well, Kojo, if you can hear me, I'm unable to hear you, so we have to move a bit closer to him now. Right.
Right. Okay. Now, tell us about what has happened recently. Arrest a Nigerian citizen for this kidnapping case. Has it affected the way the community deals with you?
Not actually, but we feel bad to hear that the Nigerian that is involved in such activity. You know, in Nigeria, we believe that though despite the have good and the good one, they are to comment with their efforts to make sure that they achieve what actually they wanted to achieve, like handwork and like people that are knowing the technical know-how to fix some certain things to help themselves, but not going so desperate to an extent of kidnapping somebody. You know, it wasn't easy. It was a bad thing for all Nigerians for that incident that happened.
Now, you've been in the community for a while, and the police are revealing that this is an activity that was planned and executed over time. The particular individual they have arrested, Samuel, it's from somewhere not far from here. It's somebody that was well known in the Nigerian community.
Actually, I didn't know the person, so I can't tell because Nigeria is very big.
No, I mean in the Nigerian community here in Ghana.
Nigerian community in Ghana, no, I didn't know him because we are having different associations, and based on the association, he is none of the member of any. So I don't know about him. I don't know about him. Neither did I know where he comes from. I don't know which tribe he is. But my serious cry about the whole incident is that it's becoming a problem for most of the Nigerians. We start to develop fear. We start to develop some kind some kind of a serious fear within us. Why? Because in a community where you're living, when you meet with people, you look at their way of life, you try as much as possible to emulate them, not to live not in accordance with their own laws. If you are a law-abiding citizen and you're in Nigeria and you're here in Ghana, I believe you won't have any problem. I happen to be one in Nigeria and I'm here in Ghana. Ghana have rules and regulations guiding them, which will have to go in accordance with that rules and regulations. So I believe any Nigerian that is here is doing well and is here for a better purpose. We continue to pray for him. If there is any way that we can help him, put him through. Even if you are here for the first instance, you didn't know what to do, you come around. That is how we all started. We started from learning one thing to the other. It's a little capital. And out of it, we develop something.
So let me ask you this. I mean, you're in Nigeria. I know what it's like to be in a community where me and my fellow Ghanaians are the minority. I become very protective of my brothers and sisters. Tell me honestly, if you were to learn any information about any of the accomplices of this individual, and you find that those accomplices are also Nigerians, will you go out of your way to inform the authorities about this?
Yeah, I have to. Because those people, they are not just, it's only names that differentiate we, the black nation. I keep on telling colleagues that they come here to buy something. Whenever I'm having personal interaction with them, when I'm about to sell things, I do always remind them that I'm an African as far as I'm concerned. These boundaries are, demarcated based on the people that colonize us, but it doesn't mean anything. A Nigerian can equally be a Ghanaian, can equally be from Egypt, can equally be from anywhere. But if you say that somebody is bad, when somebody goes against rules and regulation, what he has done is wrong. I have every right to when I see something like that, yeah, to inform the public because it's equally dangerous to me.
You don't think that would mean you are, exposing your fellow Nigerians, giving them up?
No. Exposing, that is not exposing. When you are a fellow Nigerian, you are here. If you are doing something good, your fellow Nigerian will support you. But not to the extent that you be kidnapping people. This has to do with human blood, and which, even based on the Bible, I'm a Christian. I do seminary school. So even based on Bible.
So Kojo, we're not having such a smooth line, but do wrap up for us and tell us, give us a quick wrap of what he's been saying so far.
All right. So to wrap up, tell us, are you worried that the Ghanaian community might turn against the Nigerians here?
For the first instance when that happens, I feel bad. I know something like that can happen. But the community where I am, seriously, they know me very well. They know what I can do. They know what I cannot do. And whenever I come here, I always close around 10, sometimes even 10:30. Even trekking home, I feel comfortable because they know me, they know my work, they know how I get my income. I have many other extra income for other places, apart from the business.
Okay. Gifty, I can hear you calling my name.
Right, because we need to wrap up. The sound is not as smooth as would have it be. So wrap up and give us a quick wrap of what's been happening there so far and the answers that he's been giving you. We heard some, but help us with a quick wrap.
Yes, okay. So I've had the opportunity to speak to the regional commander of police, and it was a very revealing conversation where I asked him why their methods appear to the public as if they are not taking the matter seriously. He gave some very interesting responses, including when I asked him about why they didn't put out pictures of those who had been kidnapped earlier for the public to help them to find them. He suggested that kidnapping cases are very different from missing persons cases. And in a kidnapping case, there could be the possibility of abuse and all kinds of things, which if they put out the faces of the victims, might result in some manner of stigma. But now that the faces are out there through the media work, they are now going to continue to give more information to the public to see if that will help them find the girls. There's even more in that interview I had with the regional police commander, and that will be available on the JoyNews channel.
Kojo, thank you so much. He's been up since morning and moving up and about and trying to get us all the exclusive details with the family and all of that. Of course, you get that only here on JoyNews. Kojo Yankson there leading our coverage in Takoradi. The conversation, the hashtag for the conversation is hashtag bring back our tardy girls. You want to join us? Let's have that big conversation until the girls appear.